Thank you. Before we get started, we need to take a quick selfie with the class of 2021. Everyone at this time, you may be seated.
Hey, man. Welcome to the 63rd Commencement of Fridley High School for the graduating class of 2021. I'm Kevin Lee.
And I'm Micah Newald, and we are both excited and humbled to be your MCs for this ceremony. We have a lot of exciting things in store for you all. We will be hearing from some eloquent student and faculty speakers, as well as two wonderful performances from our very own Fridley High School band and choir. This, combined with the reading of the names, is sure to make for a memorable evening.
Instead of doing a top 10 like a pep fest, or when we send off a sports team to state, we'll be shipping the seniors off to start life. So just for a moment, let's take a look back on the things we love and will always remember from the past school year that has been full of countless challenges that the class of 2021 met with determination and grace and got through it all together. Here is our top 10 list for the class of 2021. Number 10, our football team was state champions. Hey man, hold them up, y'all. Come on. With all love to the coaches who helped us on our journey.
Number 9, me and Kevo were both stripes, so we all know stripes was the better day.
Number 8, this past year has been challenging both globally and locally. The class of 2021 has stepped up to answer the call for social and racial justice.
Number 7, we are the only senior class to experience like 100 different school schedules in 1 year. Hybrid to distance, back to hybrid, to full in person, not to mention all of our online academy students.
Number 6, we don't have a number 6 because it's quarantined due to a close contact with number 7, so on to number 5.
Number 5, the class of 2021 was so good that we received $144,100 in scholarship money from the Fridley Foundation. Thank you, Fridley Foundation.
Number 4, because of COVID, our musical was in the spring instead of the fall. All Shooka received their Spotlight Best Production Award as well as multiple individual awards. And speaking of artistic excellence, Lulu Schumacher placed 8th at the state speech meet in extemporaneous reading.
Number 3, speaking of individual achievement, how about Josh Franklin finishing 4th at state wrestling meet and Tyler Herder finishing 7th at the state diving meet? Jeremy Fisher was named an academic All-American, and of course our Athena Award winner Claire Smith, as well as our AAA Award winners Cassidy Callahan and Michael Uday.
Number 2, the amazing support of our family and friends. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all, go ahead and give them a applaud of hands. Also, we have the greatest teacher and staff here at Fridley High School.
Number 1, all of you guys. Me and Kev have both said that we wouldn't want to graduate with anyone else. Anyway, enough reminiscing for now. We have the pleasure of this evening of introducing the people who guide our district. We have Dr. Jason Bodie, principal of Fridley's Alternative Learning Center. Activities Director Dan Roth. Assistant Principal of Fridley High School, Kelly McConville. Patty Hand, Principal of Fridley High School. The Superintendent of Fridley Public Schools, Dr. Kim Heil. We also have School Board Chair Donna Perwidu. and board members Ivana Stark, Carol Thornton, Ross Meisner, Abdi Salam Adam, and Jake Carnop.
All right. With all of the introductions made, let's get the ball rolling with our first speaker of the evening, Magali Ruiz Barrios.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good evening, faculty, alumni, friends, and family. Thank you for joining me and my fellow graduates on this very special night. It is an absolute honor to be your commencement speaker tonight. Well, class of 2021, it's due today at 11:59 p.m. And no, there is not a 3-day grace period like we had in bio. And no, there is no rushing all the missing work a day before the semester ends. And no, unfortunately, there are no retakes. There's no turning back anymore. It's all come to an end. Ever since freshman year, we have been dreaming of this day, where we would walk across this stage and finally take a deep breath and say, I did it. This past year, however, our dreams and hopes were shattered, wondering what our senior year would look like, wondering what the world would be like in the next 24 hours, and wondering what paths we would take after high school. Fighting against racial injustices and fighting through this global pandemic. The frustration we felt, feeling like there was something taken away from us because our senior year was cut so short. And all the fun experiences we planned and dreamed about, and all those memories we looked forward to creating never happened. And that feeling of being lost and trapped within ourselves, feeling like the world will never get any better and not knowing where to begin. However, class of 2021, I am here to tell you, this is just the beginning. Yeah, you've heard it. We are the future. And I promise you that there isn't any other class in the world that is as strong as the class of 2021. If there is one thing that I have learned from these past 4 years, is to live every moment to the fullest. And I wish I wouldn't have taken for granted those 45 minutes of class we all had together. And oh, how I wish I could have just one more class period with all of you, my friends. I will miss saying hi to all my teachers and staff 10 times a day, because those who know me know I would always wave and say hi to people, even if I didn't know them. Or randomly, coming into Ms. Jensen's avid class and lecturing her sophomores about keeping their grades up, even though deep down, I knew I had some missing assignments. As I was writing my speech for tonight, I came across a letter that was addressed to Senior Magali. So, I will share just a little bit about it because I know some of you can relate in some sort of way. Dear Magali, it's Magali. I hope by now you have grown at least 2 inches and you have now hit 5 feet. You're probably on your way to Harvard Law School with the full ride, and you're graduating with highest honors. And you probably won Homecoming Queen this year. Sincerely, Magali. Well, I am so sorry to tell you, Magali, but you have not grown 2 inches. You are still 4'11". You are not going to Harvard Law School. You are not graduating with highest honors. And you didn't win Homecoming Queen this year. In fact, there wasn't even a Homecoming Royalty this year. So today, I ask that you all take a moment to appreciate who you are and the beauty of the world around us. Some days can and will be harder than others. However, let's not forget there are 365 days in a year, 7 days a week, and 24 hours in a day. We spend so much time focusing on our weaknesses instead of embracing our strengths. Now, class of 2021, be kind to yourself. Give yourself space for self-growth, for mistakes, and for self-love. Now go out there, take advantage of every second of the day, embrace your inner beauty as well as your strengths. And as Moana would say, You'll see how far you'll go. Thank you.
Thank you, Magali. At this time, would the choir and band members please make their way to the performance areas? Our first musical selection for this evening's commencement is I Will Remember You, arranged by Roger Emerson, performed by the immensely talented Fridley High School Choir under the direction of Jeffrey Johnson. Thank you for the beautiful song. Our second student speaker of the evening is Hosna Mohammed.
There's a spider on here. Oh! Okay, take two. Greetings, graduating class of 2021. Honestly, I didn't think some of you were gonna make it. And until 3 months ago, I didn't think I was gonna make it either. But we did. We beat the odds and we graduated through a pandemic, PE dodgeball, ridiculous drama mills, a pandemic, ACTs, DP bio. Let's all bow our heads for a moment of silence for our fallen classmates who dropped the course halfway through. And those of us who were not brave enough to. State testing, 9th grade physics with Miss Becker, a pandemic, fights in the cafeteria, mourning the loss of one lunch because of said fights in the cafeteria. Did I already say pandemic? Because we graduated through a pandemic. Did you? Oh, okay. And some of these we are still experiencing, like a pandemic. And personal hardships that only our favorite teachers know about, or therapists, same thing. In all seriousness, we've gone through a lot to get here, and we'll go through a lot more. But if this year has taught me anything, it's that the class of 2021 is full of bright, enthusiastic, and passionate human beings who are part of an entire generation of people who are currently and will continue to make change in the world. I mean, between the seemingly constant injustices that we are witness to and will continue to fight against, the lives lost and mourned, I'd read that list, but I wouldn't have enough time in the world. The petitions, the walkouts, White House bills, a 3-week-long trial for a murder we all witnessed because a student our age recorded it in order to hold those officers accountable. Obviously, there's a lot to fight for and people to fight for, and I wholeheartedly believe the class of 2021 is stubborn, hard-headed, and persistent enough to make great strides forward. Because I don't have to tell you how to fight. You'd know it just by muscle memory alone. It's embedded in your DNA and meant to be harnessed to its utmost potential. I don't have to tell you how to make your voice heard, how to let the words screech from the inside of your gut and travel wholeheartedly to your lips. You've heard it, felt it, and envied it. You've sulked in its shadow. Now you must come from the inside and go out. You must use everything you are made of with recognition of who you've come from and go forward. Whichever way that leads, know that you've come a long way, and that in itself is remarkable enough. Now to finish this off with a quote from Stokely Carmichael, "There is a higher law than the law of government. That's the law of conscience." Thank you.
All right, thanks, Hosna. Now for the musical stylings of Fridley High School's band performing Sweet from Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda, arranged by Jerry Brubaker under the direction of Becca Schumann. Alrighty. At this time, will all of the band and choir members please return to your seats? Thank you, Ms. Schumann and the Fridley High School Concert Band. Our final student speakers this evening are Grace Brent and George Mbuya.
We have always wanted to speak at graduation. However, it's hard for us to find words. When we think of typical graduation speeches, we think of lighthearted sentiments being shared.
However, the world we're living in is full of unknowns. We're living in a quickly evolving world. In the midst of historical events, it almost feels like it could be easier to never leave high school. However, that's not possible.
As we close this chapter of our lives, entering a scary and uncharted world, we want to thank our fellow classmates, all Fridley faculty members, and our parents.
Throughout the pandemic and the civil unrest around us, our class, along with Fridley faculty and our parents, have overcome many obstacles thrown our way. Not only have we overcome these obstacles and accepted continuous change, we have adapted to face challenges and change head-on, which has made us all stronger.
Although change can be scary, it is important to embrace change, which our class has done. Throughout the pandemic, teachers and students were forced to adjust to the abrupt switch to distance learning, and many parents were working at home while students were attending online classes. Many parents and students were losing their jobs, and it was a hard time for many families.
At first, this change left a lot of us with a long list of questions. Questions that usually cannot be answered because of the uncertainty of the future. This change was scary and sad because we were no longer able to see our friends or teachers, play sports, and many others.
The list of all things lost felt infinite. It was easier to dwell on all the things lost rather than personal safety and the safety of family. Eventually, we settled into distance learning, which became our new normal.
At first, school felt easy. We could sit at home all day in our pajamas, take naps between classes. Then all of a sudden, junior year was over. At the beginning of senior year, we were even allowed to come to school part-time. However, this changed in October when we were sent back to distance learning and things became harder.
We missed our friends and school began to feel optional. Assignments felt impossible to complete and it became easier to procrastinate.
The world we were living in was something we never could have imagined. It was until we heard every teacher say, "This is the last unit of the year," that we realized we had made it despite all the hardship thrown our way.
Looking back now, we are proud to have pushed ourselves despite the never-ending challenges thrown our way. We as a class have faced the unknown and changing future ahead of us with confidence, not fear.
Last March, we never could have expected a deadly pandemic to uproot our junior and senior year, but here we are, stronger because we have made it through. We have graduated in the midst of a pandemic, in the wake of the tragic death of George Floyd, Dante Wright, and countless other Americans.
We are all different in our own ways, but it is important that we as a class continue to embrace each other's differences with empathy, and it is up to us to prevent the ongoing divides created by differences in race, religion, gender, and so on.
We are the class of 2021, and we are Fridley strong. As we leave each other today, entering a new chapter, we want to leave you with a quote. "Strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strengths. When you go through hardship and decide not to surrender, that is strength."
Do not surrender, class of 2021. You may not always win every challenge you face. You will struggle, but that struggle is only making you stronger. No matter how easy it may be to back down, do not give up because you are strong and you are powerful.
The pandemic combined with the civil unrest around us has made us all stronger. Our struggle has been unique, but it's time to take the strength we have gained to create a better and stronger world.
We have the power, we have the enthusiasm, and we all have a voice. Graduation is not the end, but the beginning of many new opportunities. As we enter adulthood, we are reminded of all the struggles we have endured. These struggles are a way to show how much responsibility has been laid on our shoulders and how strong we can be. We have made it, and it is up to us to take our strengths and accomplish our dreams. Congratulations, class of 2021.
Tonight has been really exciting so far. Great speakers, amazing music, and the best outdoor venue. A lot of touchdowns have been scored in this end zone by the Tigers this year, actually. Here to help us continue the celebration is the amazing principal of Fridley High School, Miss Patty Han.
Thank you and good evening. I am deeply honored and grateful to share this incredible event with you. When we opened schools this year, we were in the middle of a pandemic that presented many challenges. Learning models changed a few times, activities were postponed, and we were not sure how we would celebrate our seniors' graduation. Thank you, seniors, for your resilience, perseverance, and hard work. And thank you to our families for your support during this very unprecedented school year. We are here today celebrating this amazing class of 2021 because we did it together. And as I said to you earlier in the auditorium, I am so proud to be your principal. A celebration like this is not easy to coordinate. So before we continue, a few thank yous are in order. I would like to begin before extending a huge thank you to all of the Fridley district staff present tonight and ask that you stand to be recognized for all your contributions to our graduating class. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. I would like to give a huge shout out to our academic deans, Amy Engler, Darian Winslow, and Jim Cummings, who have worked tirelessly to support our seniors leading up to the final weeks before and the days before graduation. Your hard work is much appreciated by me and especially by our seniors. Please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Next, I would like to recognize and thank Chelsea Wood, who tirelessly coordinated this entire event this evening. Her attention to detail and tireless efforts make this night one to remember for a long time. I think she's over there giving a wave. Please stand and be recognized, Chelsea. Thank you, Chelsea. I would like to extend much appreciation to Ms. Schumann and Mr. Johnson, our band and choir directors, for their leadership and commitment to excellence of the Fridley High School music programs. The music has been beautiful. Please stand and be recognized. Thank you, Becca and Jeff. Also, a huge thank you to Tim Buttweiler and the entire custodial staff at the high school who helped set up the mock graduation practice yesterday and for tonight's ceremony this evening out here on the football field. We really appreciate all of your efforts. Thank you to the communications department led by Jael McLemore, Dan Wold, Lance Bailey, Nick Grady, Matt Nalepka, and the technology department for their video production of tonight's events. We appreciate all the hard work that goes into streaming and documenting graduation. Thank you. A special thank you to Tim Lystico for his support with our student speakers and MCs as they put their final touches on their speeches this evening. Tim, please stand and be recognized. You did a wonderful job. Thank you so much. And I know some of them stood before to help me out, which I appreciate, but I want to thank the entire Fridley High School faculty and staff who are sitting out here and who are all around this wonderful football stadium. Thank you so much for your dedication to the education of these young adults. Thank you for being role models, mentors, and for believing in the success of each and every student matters. Please stand, my staff, and be recognized. Thank you so much. And to the families of the graduates, I want to thank you for your support and collaboration as we've worked together to support our students to find success to graduate this evening from Fridley High School. We deeply appreciate these relationships and thank you. We are certainly all in this together. Students, let's give our families a round of applause. All right, now let's get back to honoring Fridley High School's class of 2021. I would like to recognize the many honor students represented in this class. The first group of students who are being recognized for their choice to complete the full International Baccalaureate Diploma program and are recognized as full diploma candidates. This is the most rigorous course of study that students can complete at Fridley High School. These students have completed 6 college-level courses and examinations over the course of 2 years. Students, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you. Next, I would like to recognize the IB Scholars. These students completed 4 or more International Diploma Program courses. Would these students please stand? Congratulations to all of our IB Scholars. Now with the students with a 3.25 to 3.49 GPA graduating with honors, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations, thank you. Would all the students with a 3.5 to 3.74 GPA graduating with high honors, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations, thank you. Finally, would all students graduating with the highest honors, please stand and be recognized. These students have a 3.75 or above GPA and have taken a minimum of 3 IB diploma courses. Congratulations, thank you. The class of 2021 will acknowledge our 7th class of avid seniors. These students have taken the responsibility to embark on a rigorous academic journey that starts here and ends with a college degree. Would our avid seniors please stand and be recognized? Congratulations, thank you. We also have students who, in addition to meeting high school graduation requirements, have also earned an associate degree while attending a local college or university. Would those students who have earned an AA degree please stand and be recognized? Congratulations. Thank you. We are so proud of our students and recognize their many accomplishments over their time here at Fridley High School. At this time, I would like to welcome back Micah and Kevin to the stage.
Alrighty, thank you, Principal Hand. Also sharing her words of wisdom with us this evening as staff is, hold on, let me restart that. Also sharing her words of wisdom with us this evening is tonight's staff speaker, Liz Jensen. On behalf of the entire class of 2021, we want to thank you for everything you have done for us the last 4 years. From yelling at us to get our schoolwork done during freshman year, all the way up until last week, to giving us donuts and being our second mom. You mean the world to all of us avid students and to all the students that have had a run-in with you. So without further ado, here's the student-selected speaker, the Ms. Liz Jensen.
Hello. Good evening, Superintendent Heil, members of the school board, Ms. Hand, Mr. McConville, Mr. Roth, Dr. Bodie, faculty and staff, parents, families, friends, and of course, our graduating class of 2021. Good evening, and thank you so much for the privilege of speaking in front of you this evening. I am deeply honored and truly humbled that you have given me the opportunity to share a few words with you on this momentous occasion. Class of 2021, here we are. As I look out at your faces this evening and as you gathered for graduation, I am truly in awe of all that you have accomplished. Graduating high school has always been a momentous occasion. Yet this year, it is even more of an accomplishment. In March of 2020, I stood in my hallway with my HL Lang and Lit students. I was saying, "See you on Monday," and you all smiled, kind of laughed, and said, "Nah, Wilma said COVID was on the rise. We'd be distanced on Monday." I laughed, I smiled, I handed you packets of reading and said bring them back. You told me no way, and yet again, there I was, telling you I'd see you on Monday. Then Monday came, and there we were, catapulted into a world of the unknown. Distance learning, the ding of Google Meets. Hybrid learning, block schedules, serious uncertainty. And this, class of 2021, is where I have been left in complete amazement each and every single day of the ways in which you all navigated these uncharted waters. You logged in, you showed up, you communicated, you worked, and then you worked some more. I hope that when you look back on your high school years, you remember that this was a time of great resilience and great change. Over these past 4 years, you have shown us all that Fridley scholars truly are the best in the world. You are compassionate, you are caring, you are kind, and you are perseverant. You help those who cannot find their voices to find them. You are focused on social justice and changing this world for the better and making sure that everyone has a place in this world. You are exactly who I hope will change this world for the better. There are so many times over the past year when it was so easy to focus on every negative that has surrounded us and on all the things that have not gone as we expected. However, today, I want to focus on the outstanding accomplishments, achievements, and straight-up victories that each and every single one of you has accomplished. You made it. Let me say that again. You made it. You are graduating, you are sitting here. You graduated high school in the midst of a pandemic, social unrest, and as all of you have said to me on multiple occasions, EJ, there's a whole lot of stuff going on right now. As you venture into this new chapter of your lives, I want to leave you with 5 words to remember. One of my favorite poets, Morgan Harper Nichols, reminds us to keep these 5 words in our vocabulary at all times, and especially when we are facing the unknown. Rest. Take time for yourself to be refreshed and gather your strength. Play. Find time in your lives for fun as you become adults. Curiosity. Take the time to learn new things, even when there are unknowns ahead of you. Dream. Remember that even if your dreams seem impossible, you can still keep letting those dreams stir inside of you. And finally, grace. Give yourselves permission to see who you are beyond what you do, and give things time to fall into place. So in closing, congratulations, class of 2021. I know I can speak for each and every staff member of Fridley Public Schools when I say, we are so proud of you. Go live your lives, chase your dreams, have fun, and above all else, always be kind to yourselves and others. And go Tigers! Congratulations.
How about another round of applause for Ms. Jensen? Before we go, we would like to bring Principal Hand back to the podium. It has been a pleasure emceeing tonight's commencement, and again, congratulations to the class of 2021. We did it!
All right. Mike and Kevin, thank you so much for your hard work and leadership to MC our graduation tonight. Your positive energy brought a special touch to tonight's ceremony, and we are thank you for your contribution. At this time, you may now go back to your seat. I also want to take a moment to thank Magali, Hosna, Grace, and George for their leadership tonight. It is not an easy task to speak at graduation and to represent your class, and I am so proud of all of you. Your speeches were personal, heartfelt, and classy. Thank you. Finally, I have the pleasure of introducing oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. Finally, I have the pleasure of introducing the Superintendent of Fridley Schools, Dr. Heil. She leads with vision and focus in serving our community. Her leadership continues to put Fridley Schools in the forefront of innovation and creating high-level programs. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Heil.
Good evening, school board members, families, guests, and our class of 2021 scholars. It is a true pleasure to have the opportunity to speak face-to-face to each one of you today. While it's an exciting year each year to be able to congratulate our scholars on the incredible amount of work that they needed to complete to reach this day, it's even more outstanding to stand in front of our scholars today who may have looked at times at insurmountable challenges in the face and literally have continued to rise to the challenge. Each and every one of you rose to the challenge of changes, to schedules, to school days, to technology, and much more. And a lot of those times, it was done within just a few days. Our scholars rose to the challenge of navigating experiences and activities either being canceled or altered. Our scholars navigated and rose to the challenge of how to do school in a new way, in a system of wearing a mask or learning through a screen. Through it all, with the frustration and the pressure that may have come with it, our scholars continue to rise, and here they sit before us today. Scholars, you showed us adults perseverance and tenacity through all of the changes that occurred over the last year. You modeled to us adults how to continue to rise through adversity. I send you off today with a verse from the song most of us know well, I Rise, in honor of all the incredible work that you have done this year. You've been broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round. And you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so you're gonna walk it out and move mountains. You're gonna walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, and I'll rise like today. And I'll rise up, and I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again, which you did. And I'll rise up high in the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times. Class of 2021, there is literally nothing that you cannot do. Continue to rise to each challenge, and through the rest of your life, please remember, you are supported and loved by Fridley Public Schools. Congratulations to the class of 2021, and oh yeah, go Tigers. And now for the moment that we've been waiting all evening for. Will the members of the class 2021 please stand? Members of the Fridley School Board, the members of this class have fulfilled requirements for graduation from this school as set forth by the State Board of Education and the Board of Education of Fridley School District 14. In recognition of this achievement, they are entitled to their diplomas as graduates of Fridley High School. Chairperson Donna Perito, at this time, the class of 2021 will be called to the stage to receive their diplomas. Row 1, you may begin making your way to the stage. The rest of you may be seated.
Nyla Friend. Aden Mohamud. Dion Williams. Halima Abdi. Najma Abdi. Ahmed Abdullahi. Abdirahman Abdirazak. Dahir Abdullahi. Dahir Abdullahi. Aya Abdul Wahid. Karanso Abduro. Daisy Abrams. Hassan Abshir. Hamse Ahmed. Laden Ahmed. Muhsin Ahmed. Murtesa Ahmed. Nashad Ahmed. Ahmed Al-Jufari. Chet Albert. Yaqub Ali. Zakaria Ali. Hussein Al-Ubaidi. Kevin Amador Morales. Samaya Amin. Isaac Arika. Hamdi Artan. Tosin Ayudele. Darcy Banai. Audrey Barden-Pratt. Blaine Bekele. Ladia Belinda. Alyssa Bergstrom. Armani Berry. Justin Bolanat. Abhinav Bijolwan. Delilah Boone. Xander Boynton. Grace Brandt. Timothy Brislin. Rebecca Brown. Serena Lynn Bryant. Unique Burgess. Cassidy Callahan. Ozzie Carlson. Josiah Carrington. Sherrod Carter. Alicia Chavez Gunderson. Adam Cheber. Malachi Crary. Christian Crockett. Davion Davis. Terrell Davis. Mona Daib. Ellen Delp. Haley Dillon. Isabel Dirks. Rakaya Donnerson. Christian Dowdy. Sade Drummer. Kimberly Escobar Cabanzo. Mohamud Farah. Loretta Felsheim. Jeremy Fisher. Kimberly Flores. Joshua Franklin. Karma Gappa. Nastejo Gele. Lucas Gerhard. Asher Gill. Amalia Gonzalez. Oscar Gordillo. Michaela Green. Jonathan Guerrero. Quiana Halley. Cadence Hansen. Malia Harmon. Lula Hassan. Zainab Hassan. Gina Hawkins. Christian Henriksen. Tyler Herder. Anya Herlovsky. Vanessa Hernandez. Eric Hill. Joshua Hoy. Nedwa Hussein. Yasmin Hussein. Hector Ibarra, Franco Jr. Nareen Jalil. Savannah Tostenson Jarmusic. Michael Jensen. Ariana Jr. Shek Kaba. Ibrahim Khan. Kunchak Kondo. Elise Klanderud. Jalen Kazuki. Pearl Larson. Chelsea Lee. Kevin Lee. Kong Lee. Whitney Letty.
I think he deliberately.
Ashton Leitchu. Elizabeth Laterno. Donovan Lewis. Abdirazak Mohammed. Elena Markison. Kennedy Masicati. Anya Mendoza. Ezekiel Miltonberger. Davion Mitchell Curry. Brianna Mithyu. Abdi Basid Mohammed. Iman Mohammed. Samra Mohammed. Hosna Mohammed. Marwa Mohammed. Khalid Mohammed. Mumina Mohammed. Nawal Mohammed. Shuaib Mohammed. Karami Mohamud. Delashay Moore. Daniel Morbin. Kirsten Rose Morris. Erica Moselle. India Murray. Abdul Rahman Musa. Hiab Win. Jason Win. Micah Newald. Matthew Nordine. Olivia Oliveira. Hallie Olson. Ian Omar. George Ombuya. Michael O'Toole. Lisbeth Plata. Mackenzie Pogue. William Porter. Jacob Perido. Soren Pros. Kelsey Pulley. Kunya Sairat Rerat Poi. Melanie Kia Kayin Ovalle. Hayden Ramlet. Cassidy Redke. Charles Rice. Jemiah Robinson. Kevin Rochak. Santrice Rodriguez. Dallas Ross. Fartun Rufai. Magali Ruiz Barrios. Jazz Russell. Jesus Salazar Lopez. Aiden Salo. Louisa Schirmacher. Gracelyn Schmidt.
Man, I'm old. Luda's graduating? Wow.
Ahmed Sedlak. Leanna Schultz.
Yep, Johan.
Sundhya Sirium. Derek Severson. Kaylee Sharp. Ramla Sheikh. Aisha Sheikh Ahmed. Carter Smith. Claire Smith. Austin Stark. Travion Stevenson. Aaron Stugie. Jet Tomavangsa. Patrick Tao. Madison Thompson. Tatiana Thompson. Saritha Tollefson. Felix Tony. Tony Towns. Michael Uday. Jason Vanderwerf. Timmy Vang. Tua Vu. Cameron Wilcox. Todd Wright Jr. Logan Wirtz. Daisy Xiong. Brianna Yang. Lance Yang.
Yep.
Yoshua Yang. Tiffany Yang. Ayan Yassin. Isra Yusuf. Zach Yusuf.
Yep, that's as far back as I can go. Okay.
At this time, I present to you Fridley High School's class of 2021. Congratulations!